So welcome, you guys. We're on week 4 of our Easy Like Sunday Morning series. And so our plan was, in the first class of this little group, we moved through a flow that connected poses that we are familiar with, but maybe in a different way, which brought in a bit of leg strength and some core stability. And then over the last couple of weeks, we broke down those sequences a little bit so that we had a chance to get more familiar with them in our body, just so that when you go into something, you were like, okay, I'm familiar now of where I'm kind of supposed to be, or the movement between the two of them came a little bit more intuitively. Even if you didn't join us for those classes, that's okay. We're going to come back to that original flow this morning. That said, it can be a little bit strong at times because we're using a lot of lower body, and we're using core, but in a stabilizing way to keep us in alignment, to hold our balance while we transition from one place to another. So it's your practice. It's hot outside. In the summertime, we have that punch of energy, but we also use it, which leaves us sometimes a little tired and sore. So use your blocks to support you as we move. Ease back if you are feeling tired, because we want this practice to give you a space where you feel really good and energized in your body as you leave. And if you feel like you've got that extra punch, then there's going to be some room for you to give it, if that's what you want to do. We are going to start in supine butterfly, or Baddha Konasana on our back. So soles of feet together and coming all the way down on our back. You can support on your knees with blocks at any level, in any location that you like. If having the knees tip out this early in the morning is really strong. And I'm going to offer the option of reaching into the shoulders in this space if you like. You can just bring your hands to the sides, but if you feel like you'd like to open that shoulder space, you could bring your arms up overhead. You could bind them overhead as well, and then just let them start to get heavy to the floor. If there's any restriction in the shoulder space, whether it's natural human structure, injury, or just early morning, you can place a block underneath your arms to bring the floor up to meet you. So this is an easy space to let the shoulders start to relax and open up. And if having the knees tipped out doesn't feel like a nice space to arrive, then choose one that does. And let the eyes close, start to draw your awareness in, really feel into your body, your energy, your breath. See how you're doing. Notice where you're sore or where you're holding stress or tension. Notice how your breath is moving. Is it feeling easy this morning? Or is it a little ragged? No judgment at all. And just be aware and see if you can bring it into a space that starts to help you unravel here. Bring all the awareness up towards the crown of your head. See if you can relax the scalp, Feel the ears set back and any lines in the forehead smooth. Release the throat. Feel any tension in the shoulders. Let go. So soften all those muscles. Let everything get heavier to the floor. And space at the chest, the base of the throat starts to be a little bit more open. When you breathe in, let your core be relaxed so that your belly rises. And as the breath releases, the core that wraps around the ribs and into the low back is soft. Notice if you're holding through the hips. Let go of the muscles around the sit bones and relax that hip socket. And if it's too strong because you're unsupported, maybe let the feet come to the mat and then relax there. Take a big deep breath in, really slow, so the belly rises and you breathe fully into the torso, right up to the top of the lungs. Through the nose or the mouth, really slow, we're gonna let all the breath go. Let it be heavy, but long exhale and wash the energy right down towards the soles of the feet. Do that one more time. Big, slow, deep inhale and a big cleansing exhale. If you have a bind with your arms, let it go. Slowly bring the arms back down. And if the knees are spilled out, you can use your hands to bring them towards each other so the feet find the mat. And just take a breath here. You might want to tuck the shoulder blades under if it feels awkward in the upper body, or just gently press into the feet and replace the hips so that that arch comes into the low back. Really connect with how you're feeling right now. Come down into your body. Present in your practice. And then wiggle the toes and the fingers. You might let the head drop side to side. Just check in, see how the neck is feeling. You might need to move a little slower than you thought. We're going to bring the right knee in towards your chest. So let the hands bind where it's comfortable over the knee or behind the thigh. Keeping the low back on the floor and let the shoulders melt back. Then we're going to take the left leg long, flex the foot so you press through the heel and take the leg into a hover. So you're a few inches off the floor. Feel your low back start to engage more towards the mat. Your core is going to turn on. You're going to say hello to your hip flexor and the top of your quadricep. Just take some easy breaths here. So we're drawing in the right knee to open the back of the hamstring and reach into the glutes. And start to connect with the muscle lines through the left side. On your next inhale, we're going to keep pressing through the left heel and bring the foot up. So now you're about 8 to 10 inches off the floor. You're going to keep your sacrum and your low back engaging downward. And now you're going to feel the pelvis tip a little bit and the core start to turn on. Slow breath. Keep sending the energy out through the heel, the toes coming towards the face. Really focusing on a smooth, easy breath. Next inhale, we lift a little higher. You're about halfway between the floor and 90 degrees. Check in, make sure your knee and your toes are facing upward. You keep pressing through the heel. Tip the pelvis so that the low back presses down. Feel the core engaging. And we have one more rise with your next breath. Take it just a little bit higher. Keeping the whole upper body relaxed. Let the work, the engagement, be deep in the core line. Trying to keep your neck soft. So if you feel like you're leading from your throat, relax your head really heavy back to the floor, your shoulders heavy, and shift where you are using muscles to help this happen. One more breath. And then bring the left knee in, give yourself a squeeze, maybe a rock if that is really strong through the low back for you. And we're going to switch. So left knee comes in, find the bind that works on this side for you. Right foot comes straight out in the hip socket, pressing through the heel so the toes are flexing. And you're a few inches off the floor in that hover. Consciously keeping the upper body soft, shoulders melt, low back starts to press down to engage through the whole front line on the right. Inhale, we rise that next little bit. This is a more subtle core engagement, a little bit of warm up for these spaces, but it can be a lot, especially first thing in the morning. Really focus on soft body, easy breath. Next breath, a little bit higher, that halfway point. Now notice if your attention is all moving into the left side, and see if you can relax that leg and draw it a little bit more into your body while you press the energy out the heel on the right side. Last breath in, we're coming up a little bit higher. This either got a lot easier or a lot stronger depending on you. Slow breath. Just one more. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Give yourself that hug, rock, slow side to side across the low back. When you come to center next, one hand on each knee, just draw the knees away from each other. Just a soft, almost restorative version of a happy baby. Give a little bit of release to that inside line. Bring the knees back together. We're going to rock and roll the length of the spine and then come up towards seated. I'm going to come into head to knee pose. So we're going to leave the right leg long. The left foot's going to come in towards the inner thigh. And if having the turnout doesn't feel nice, you can turn this into a version of forward fold just with the both legs straight, or you can play with keeping that foot on the floor. Really changes it up for the inner line, but that can be fun too. So I want you to have both sit bones grounding down. So if you need to support with one side by folding your mat over in any way, that will help this fold forward and feel better. Get nice and tall. Maybe close the eyes so that you can bring the awareness inward about how this feels. We're going to fold this forward into head to knee pose. So on the inhale, just gather the energy in front of you, bring it in towards the heart space. And then on the exhale, we're going to reach past the foot. Flex it so the toes come towards the face. Let the knee and the toes be shining upward and reach. So it's not a rounding of the upper body. You want to try and keep the spine fairly long. Make it be more like you're trying to touch your belly button towards the floor. So this is hinging from the hips. Take a full deep breath here and get even longer, reaching for something you really want, just past the end of your mat. And then let the hands come down. We're going to stay engaged. So you can have your hands land anywhere on the lower part of that leg. Maybe you reach the foot. Take a breath in, reach the heart for the big toe. And then the exhale, we're not going to round and soften quite like a yin pose, but we are going to let the upper body fold down. You're going to start to feel this a lot, a little bit into the low back, but a lot through the back line of your right leg. Next breath, we're going to lengthen the spine again. So you're reaching your heart towards that big toe. I want you to draw the thigh bone into the hip socket. So the thigh is coming back. It's going to let you square your hips a little bit because you probably didn't even realize they kind of got off tilt. And then reach the heart forward again and come back into a deep fold. It's called head to knee pose, but we're not trying to put the top of our head on our knee. We're trying to touch the belly button to the inside of the knee. Yes, that's impossible to do, and that's the intention that we're moving with here. One more slow, deep breath in this fold as we start to open up hamstrings. Coming back up. We're going to take the left leg, foot's going to come to the mat. If it isn't already there, we're going to turn this into a twist. So we're going to wrap the right arm around the knee or the hand, drawing the knee in towards the midline. Left hand comes behind. We're not leaning on it. It's only there to help keep our spine nice and tall. Take a big breath in, get taller, and then exhale from mid-spine. We start a gentle twist. There's no way this is supposed to look. There's no depth you're supposed to achieve. Let this feel good through the sides of the body. You're going to feel it a little bit into the outside line of your left thigh and sit bone space also. So your inhale gets taller. And then your exhale, you settle into your twist. Soften what you can without letting the spine collapse. One more breath here. And exhale completely. Keep the legs as they are. We're going to unravel the twist. So just come towards the right side for a moment. We're going to play a little bit here. So we're going to let the legs spill out to the side, the left leg. We're going to take a baby wild thing. So the left hand's going to come behind. Inhale, sweep the right hand forward and up. Come up onto that knee. Press the whole body forward and press to the outside of your right foot. This can be a side bend. You can start to play into a bit of a back twist. Let this just feel good. You're opening up through the right side. Big deep breath. Exhale, we're going to slowly come down with control. We're going to place the left foot back on the floor like we just were in our twist. This time the right hand's going to come behind. This one takes a little bit more core. This is a different version of wild thing. We're going to press into the left foot. That's the foot with the bent knee. And we're going to press up. So this comes into kind of a bit of a side plank. So we're going to take a big deep breath, press into the left foot, come to the side of the right, lift the hips, come all the way onto your right hand, open up the sides of the body. Your toe is down or your foot is down on the left foot. That's what's keeping you strong here. And it's your pivot. If this is way too much as you start your practice this morning, then just come back down. Take one more deep breath here. With control, exhale, we come back down. Let's switch legs. So left leg forward, your right leg tipping out, coming back into that head to knee pose. Inhale, lift the spine, maybe the eyes closed. As you breathe in, you gather the energy, and on the exhale, you're going to reach past the foot, leading with the heart, pressing with the belly button. This is really active. And then one more inhale. See if you can get a little bit longer forward. And then as you let the breath go, the hands find their space to rest. We're going to keep this active though, so you're holding on to that leg and just helping with a little bit of intention, keeping the heart moving towards the toe. And then as you exhale, you start to let the fold get heavy. So next breath, we're going to lengthen the spine again. So reaching the heart towards the big toe, and then draw this thigh bone back into the hip socket. Feel that little tiny shift and how it changes the way this feels. When you're ready, you start to get heavy into this fold again. We're going to take one more breath here. Come back up. Bring the right knee up so that foot comes onto the floor. We're going to turn this into our twist. So wrap the arm, hand comes in behind. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist. Remember, on the inhale, we get taller. And the exhale, we settle in. See if you can relax spaces in your body that are really tight and clenched. One more full deep breath here. Exhale it completely as you come forward. We're just going to take a little bit of a counter here towards the left side, and then the right knee comes back out. We're going to take our wild thing. So the right hand comes behind, left hand swoops up. We press the hips forward. Inhale. Lengthen, let this feel good. The more you press your hips forward, the more back bend you introduce. Maybe you open up to the sky. And then exhale, we come back down. One more, the foot comes flat on the floor on the right leg. Left hand comes in behind. Inhale, the right hand sweeps this time. Coming into the side plank version, press your foot into the floor, reach, reach, reach. Really big, deep breaths here. Exhale, come back down. We're gonna cross the ankles over, come up towards hands and knees. Just a little bit more in our workout this morning, or our warm-up, this morning. We're gonna come to cat pose. So round the spine, press the floor away, really open up the hands so that each knuckle is engaging down towards the mat. And then inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades back, drop the core, and lift the heart. We're going to let the sit bones tip back towards child's, and then we're going to take some rolling cat. So as you inhale, you're going to roll up, maybe even press just a little bit past the wrist, and as you exhale, turn this into cow and shift the hips back. Just moving with your breath. So it's still like a cat in a cow pose, but it's a little bit more dynamic. It brings in hips, shoulders, moves the spine in a little bit of a different way. Next time your hips are back towards your heels, take a breath here. We're going to inhale and round up through cat and shift forward through plank. And then lower all the way to the floor. Squeeze those shoulder blades back, come into your first cobra, so you can take a moment to shift and move. And then exhale down. Press the floor away, round back to child's. And take one more striking cobra. Inhale, round up. Shifting forward into knee plank. Pause right here. Lower. Squeeze the shoulder blades back. Come into your cobra. Exhale down. Press the floor away, round. And hips back to child's. This time we're going to round up one more time, but we're going to pause in our plank. So come forward to knee plank. If you feel like you want a little more, then you tuck the toes under and you come into full plank. We're going to move through a few squatting down dogs and plank flows. So you can do this with knees down. You can do this with knees lifted. Knees lifted is a lot stronger. So I'm going to show you both. Start with the knees down. We're going to tuck the toes under wherever you are. And then on your next exhale, you're going to press your hips back, bend the knees, come into a squatting down dog. So lift the hips high and lengthen the spine. This is arms and shoulders and core. And then on your inhale, you're going to come back into a plank. So you either come to knee plank, the knees come down, hearts forward, shoulders over the wrists, or you're in full plank. So inhale, we come back into squatting dog, shift back, press the floor away. Really conscious movement. Keep the breath really engaged. Next inhale, very slowly, you come forward into your version of plank. We're going to do one more. Take a breath, press the floor away, feel really, really strong in your plank. Take a breath in. Exhale, hips back, squatting dog. So it's not regular down dog. Your knees are bent a lot. The belly comes towards the thighs. Press the floor strong. Inhale, coming forward into your version of plank. And then knees are down if they were lifted before. Let's come all the way down to the floor. One more cobra here. Squeeze the shoulder blades back, lift the heart. Exhale down. We're going to tuck the toes under, press all the way back to sit back on our heels. We're going to take the fingers towards the outside edges of the mat. So your weight is in your wrists, pressing down at the base of your palm. Take a moment here to open up the hand, press the fingers strong. You've got a bit of release happening through the wrists and the forearms, and a bit more of a gentle version of your toe stand here. I'm just going to take one more really full breath. So engage the hands in a way that feels really good. Release the hands, maybe give them a wiggle as you let them go. We're going to pop up onto toes. So you can do this next piece with your knees parallel, so facing forward, or you're going to take your knees out towards the sides. This is a Buddha toe stand. If you take your knees out to the sides, your heels are able to connect. This gives you a little bit more stability. Your knees are forward, it's a little bit more core oriented. Now what we want to do is press really strong into the base of the toes to the ball of the foot. Maybe your heels come together if your knees are open. And then we're looking to see if we can lift the heart and balance. Maybe hands come to heart. And your gaze, you're going to want it to be forward. Find a spot. See if you can breathe here. This is toes. This is balance. This is core. This is going to make the heat rise. We've got one more breath right here. And then slowly bring it back down. If the knees are open, close them up. Let's take this into a forward fold. So the feet come down to the floor, ragdoll, bend the knees, let the whole upper body hang. And then if you're able, keep your belly towards your thighs and see if you can get a little bit deeper in this fold. Maybe you take big toes with your peace fingers and keep the belly towards the thighs and see if you start to have a little bit of space using the biceps to help you draw down and get your hips a little bit higher. We're reaching into the hamstrings and the glutes. So it's not about getting your legs straight, especially if your belly is away from your body. It's about working really slowly and smartly into this hamstring space. Next, exhale, bend the knees a lot. Release any bind you might have. Let's come up to stand. Take an inhale, rise. Reach for the sky, maybe a back bend. And then exhale down through heart. Take a moment or two, make any adjustments that you feel like you need. Maybe you take a sip of water. We're going to come to the top of the mat. Just a little release on the toes. And then come to find your mountain pose. Hands come to heart. We're just going to take kind of a warm up flow. Nice and slow, really mindful. Take an inhale. Let's reach the hands up to the sky. Take hold of your left wrist. Inhale, get taller. And then we're going to tip over to the right side, side bend. So you're going to root through the left foot. Open up through the side. Keep your shoulders more or less stacking. Gaze might come up underneath the shoulder or stay down towards the floor. Take one more full deep breath here. Really open the whole side body. Inhale. As you come up, you're going to switch your grip and then tip over to the other side. Pressing through the right foot this time. Right hip moves away. Gaze could come up underneath the shoulder. Make sure your breath is still flowing. Inhale, coming back up to center. We're going to take a baby back bend here. And then exhale, we're going to fold all the way down. Really nice and slow, mindful of the hinge at the hips. Let's come through flat back. We're going to take our time in this little sequence here, really gauging into the body. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot. Let's come all the way up to stand. Take a baby back bend. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold all the way down. Bend the knees enough so that either your hands can come to the floor in front of your feet, or you bring a block there to bring the floor up to meet you. We're going to twist this. So the left hand grounds down on a block or on the floor. Inhale, send your sit bones back and reach the crown of the head forward. So come into flat back and then reach the hand up into this compass twist. Exhale, bring the hand back down, switch them. Left hand reaches up in this little twist. Exhale, fold down. Bend the knees a lot. We're going to come all the way to stand. A back bend if you like. And then slowly fold all the way back down. We're going to come up through flat back. Bend the knees a lot so the hands come to the mat. We're going to step back to downward facing dog. So plant the hands, spread the fingers, step back into your perfect down dog. Take your time finding your way in. Hips are high, spine is long. Move the chin away from the chest. Three-legged dog. We're going to root down the left foot. Inhale, right foot up into the air. Nice and tall, nice and high. Press both hands strong into the floor. And then bend the knee and twist this open, Scorpio twist, like you're trying to bring the toe all the way up to touch the top of your head. See if you can square your shoulders a little heavier towards the mat, so you're going to feel this through the side body more. Inhale, let's lengthen this back into three-legged dog. Lots of breath. And then we're going to bring the right knee to the outside of the right elbow, shifting forward into plank, and then stepping back into downward facing dog. Take a breath. Other side, we're going to root into the right foot this time. Left foot comes up, three-legged dog. See if you can get it nice and high. It helps if you press strong into your hands to be able to lift the foot just a little bit higher. And then bend the knee, twist this like you're touching the foot towards the top of your head, squaring the shoulders to the mat. Take a really open breath. Inhale, three-legged dog, so lengthen this back to the center line. Bring the left knee forward to the left elbow, just shifting forward into plank, and then stepping back into downward facing dog. Take a breath right here. Let's take one vinyasa. So rise up onto toes, unwind into plank. Knees can stay lifted or come down. We're going to lower, coming up into cobra or up dog. And then shift right back to downward facing dog. We're going to take the gaze between the hands, walk, hop, or jump all the way up to the top of the mat. Fold. Bend the knees a lot. Let's come up to stand. And we're going to exhale down through heart. Okay, we're going to dive into our primary flow here. Just a couple of walks through, that's all. So take your time, let it feel really good. That said, let's bring our blocks towards the top of the mat. There's a few really strong spaces. Find a version that works in your body this morning. So inhale, we reach for the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold all the way down. Coming through flat back. And then fold. Bend the knees a lot so the hands come down to the floor. Right foot's going to step back. We come right down into low lunge. So the knee drops right down, release the toe. Inhale, we come all the way up. And then exhale, we sink into our dragon. Your hands can stay up. They can come to heart, to knee. They can reach up. Stay here for just 3 breaths in each shape. Take some time to sink in, so make it your own. If your hands are anywhere other than up, on the inhale, we'll reach them up. Exhale, they come down to frame the front foot. Tuck the toe under, lengthen the leg. Step back to downward facing dog. Take a breath. Weight shifts into the left foot, right foot up into the air, 3-legged dog. Press strong into the hands. One more breath. The knee comes forward to step between the hands, so help it if it needs. Runner's lunge. We're going to pause here. Let yourself open and sink. Draw the heart forward. Feel really stable, though, on the front foot and the back toe. One more breath right here. We're going to press up into crescent lunge, strong into the feet. Remember, the back knee can bend to create this line from shoulder, hip, and knee, or you press deeper into your lunge and sink, and that back heel presses towards the back of the room. Inhale, really reach the fingers, or the hands, again, can come anywhere that feels best for you. One more slow, deep breath here. If your hands are anywhere than up, inhale, reach them up. We're going to turn this into reverse warrior. So you turn the back foot onto an angle, left hand drops, right hand reaches up and over. The knee on the front moves towards the top of the mat. Slow, deep breath, open through the side. One more breath here. Bend into the knee, reach strong up into the hands. Exhale, we turn this into right angle. So as you start to come through warrior 2, bend the right arm, it comes above the knee. Back hand reaches up and over. Twist the heart, the ribs, the shoulders open, palm is facing down. Press strong into both feet like you're trying to tear your mat in half. Last breath right here. We're going to transition to triangle. So as you start to straighten out that front leg, the arm on your knee starts to straighten as well and reach for the floor. The left hand reaches for the sky. Gaze can be down or anywhere all the way up towards the top hand. Slow breath. Remember, it's not about what it looks like. It's about how it feels. So find that space that feels really good in your body. One more breath right here. Gaze comes down to the front foot. Top hand drops. We're going to turn the back foot to toes so that we step onto train tracks. And we're turning this into pyramid pose. So maybe you take your blocks. if the floor seems really far away, because pyramid can be incredibly strong on the hamstring of the front leg. So lift this up, shorten your stance, make this whatever you need to be. And then I want you to see if you can draw your back hip forward and your front hip back so that you bring everything in line and square it off. And then see if you can relax into this fold a little bit. If you can't, support yourself more. Lift the heart higher. This should not be torture. This is supposed to feel really good, slow, deep opening. One more slow, deep breath right here. As we start to bend into the front leg, we're going to drop the back knee and turn this back into our low dragon. Release the toe. Inhale, rise. Exhale, sink. Again, hands can stay raised or find any variation that feels like it needs to happen for you. Slow, intentional breath. Okay, here's the new piece. Take a big deep inhale, reach nice and tall with the hands if they're anywhere other than raised. Exhale, bring them down to frame the front foot. If you're with me last week, we tucked the toe under, so let's do that. And we came up into standing split. This is still your option, to press everything up and come to standing split. Or we come to half moon. Half moon isn't something we've played with recently. So you're going to take a block in your right hand, place it in front of your foot about 6 inches away. It can be on any level. If you're unsure, make sure it's on the highest level. We're going to take a big deep breath. You're either kicking up into standing split or you're kicking up and coming into half moon. So maybe that block needs to move a little bit once you get up. The hand is on the block. And now, just like triangle pose, you open the side body up if you can. So your left hand could come to hip, or it could start to reach for the sky. Now, here's the heat. Just 3 breaths here, that's all. We have to give ourselves a little bit of challenge. One more deep breath here. The raised hand comes down, the foot comes beside the one that's on the mat. Come into a fold. Bend the knees a lot. Let's come all the way up to stand. Reach. Come through hard. And make any adjustments you need. Maybe a sip of water. We're going to do the other side. We know where we're going now, so that takes away half the battle, I feel like, right? And then we're going to move through it on each side again, but a little bit more to breath, tempo, or pace. So we're going to stay at the 3 breath speed for this side. So take a big deep breath here, hands at heart. Inhale, we're going to reach up to the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold. Come through, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot so the hands come to the mat. This time the left foot comes back all the way down into low lunge. Inhale, coming up. And then exhale, sinking. Hands can be where they feel best. And because we're taking slow breath, remember, this is your practice. You can control your intensity. Inhale, get tall. Exhale, frame the foot, tuck the toe under, lengthen the leg. Let's step all the way back into downward facing dog. Root into the right foot, left foot comes up into the air. Press strong into the hands, keep the chin away from the chest. One more breath right here. Inhale, we're going to step the foot between the hands. Tap it if it needs. Come all the way up into crescent lunge. Again, make your adjustments, choose your variation. Maybe you sink really deep. Maybe you bend the back knee. Hands can be up or down. One more breath right here. Reverse warrior, turn onto the back foot, right hand to the thigh, left hand up and over, sink back into your lunge if you lost it. Open the whole side body. One more breath here. As we transition through warrior two, we come into right angle, so bend the elbow, it comes above the knee, back hand sweeps up and over. Press to the outside of that back foot, open the heart. Triangle. You fight to straighten the front leg, drop the front hand, raise the top one. Find your variation. Bring the back of your head in line with your spine. So if you're hooked forward, draw the head back. One more breath here. Gaze comes down, pyramid pose. So the lifted hand drops. We're looking for blocks or the floor, and you change the location of your back foot. Square your hips and start to fold over the front leg. Really focused breathing to help keep you soft and supported. Here we go. Inhale, we bend the front knee, drop the back knee. Maybe the foot shifts back just a little bit. Untuck the toe, coming back into dragon. Exhale, we shift back deep. Hands can be where they need to be. Let this feel good through the hamstrings. One more breath here, lifting the hands if they're not already there. Exhale, coming down to frame the front foot. We're going to tuck the back toe under. Here's our variation, standing split or half moon. So inhale, coming up into your variation, supported. Yes, it's a struggle. It's all balance. You're super strong. Keep fighting for it. We have one more breath wherever you are. Exhale, come to stand. Release the hands, deep fold. Bending the knees a lot, come all the way to stand. Reach for the sky. Exhale through heart. Now here's where we play. We're going to pick up the speed just a little bit. Yes, it might make it kind of funny. Yes, we'll probably get lost and we might fall out of balance. That's okay, it's summer, let's play. Take a full deep breath in, let it go. Inhale, we're going to reach the hands up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Coming through flat back. And then folding back down. Bend the knees a lot so the hands come to the mat. Right foot back, right knee down into low lunge. Inhale, we rise right up. And then we sink for one breath. We're going to reach the hands back down to frame the foot, tuck the back toe under, step all the way back to downward facing dog. Root into the left foot, right foot up, three-legged dog. The knee comes forward into runner's lunge, hop at knees. Find that stability. We're coming all the way up. Crescent lunge. Take a breath. Reverse warrior, turn the back foot. Slowly sweep in. Pause for a breath. Inhale, right angle. We're barely going to touch it just as we arrive. We pause. And then inhale, triangle. Gaze comes down. We turn this into pyramid pose. So hands find blocks or the floor, and we fold for just a breath. Inhale, the back knee drops, front knee bends, release the toe, dragon, and sink. Now here's the fun part. Hands come down, tuck the back toe, choose standing split or half moon. Only here for a breath. That's it. And standing into forward fold. Bend the knees a lot. Come all the way to stand. We're going to go straight into the other side, guys. Exhale, fold. Flat back. Fold. Bend the knees a lot. Hands come to the mat. Left foot back. Left knee down. All the way up. Dragon. Sink into the deep version. Hands come down to the floor. Tuck the toe. Lengthen the leg. Downward facing dog. Just a breath. Right foot roots, left foot rises. Knee comes forward, runner's lunge, help it if it needs. Inhale, crescent lunge, fight for it, reach nice and tall. Reverse warrior, turn the back foot, reach it back, sink into the knee. Inhale, right angle, bend the elbow, sweep the right arm up and over. Triangle, just dropping in. Let it feel really good to open. Pyramid, the top hand comes down, gazes down. We're looking for blocks or floor. Adjust the back foot and fold. Inhale, bend the front knee, back knee drops. Release the toe and rise. Sink into the dragon. It's the last time we're here. Hands come down. Here's the last play. Tuck the toes, standing split, or kick up into that half moon. Beautiful. Struggle for it. Come down into the standing fold. That's it. We're done. Big sigh. Let's take one more breath here. Bend the knees a lot. Come all the way to stand. Maybe there's a back bend here. That would feel fantastic. And we come down through heart. So we're going to come down into Malasana, which is yogi squat. And if you just groaned, then take this in the supported version, which basically means you get to make yourself a sofa with the blocks and let your knees come wide and put the pressure into your heels. You're really supported, gives you the release without the intensity in the core and the hips. Or you start to find your space and come down. Your hips, your hamstrings, your low back, they should all be really warm and feeling really accessible right now. Hopefully, if you make it down into your squat, see if you can lift your heart and drop your sit bones. Maybe hands come inside the knees. Maybe you can close the eyes here. We're just going to take maybe 6 or 8 breaths here. If this is a struggle, decide why. Are you clenching and fighting and resisting? See if you can relax. This might feel really fantastic. And if it's because your body doesn't do this well or for a myriad of reasons, then support it. Don't struggle. Let's take this last breath here. We're going to rise up just enough to release it And then bring the knees down one at a time. You can sit back on your heels. You can take a child's pose. You can come down to sit, which is where we're eventually going to land. Just take a few moments here just to let all the intensity and the hard work from practice go. Take one more breath. And then if you haven't already come to seated, transition there. We started with head to knee pose and a seated twist. We're coming back to that space. It should feel really accessible. So take your right leg forward. Your left foot comes in towards that thigh. Inhale, get really, really tall. Bring your shoulder blades back. Lift through the heart. Energy comes in, and on the exhale, we reach past the foot. But this time, we're going yin. So we're not striving, we're not drawing ourselves in. We're still letting the belly button lead us towards this fold. But then as you find your maximum range, let the shoulders move forward, let the head and the neck start to soften, and just get heavy in this fold. And if you feel even slightly awkward in the space you're in, just check about suctioning this thigh bone back into the hip. It'll square things, and then try again, and maybe it'll feel so much better. Try relaxing the leg, and if that makes it kind of roll out to the side, that's okay. Let's take 2 more easy breaths here. Exhale completely. I need to come back up. The left foot finds the floor. Let's take this seated twist again. So we wrap the right arm, drawing that knee in towards the body. Left hand comes behind to support us. Inhale, tall. Exhale, sink into a twist that feels good in your body. Two more breaths. Exhaling completely, bringing yourself back to center. We're going to release the leg. You can either lean back on hands and take a bit of a seated cow, or come to a counter release on the twist, whatever feels better. And let's do the other side. So the left leg is long, right foot comes in, ground the sit bones, square the hips, inhale tall. Exhale, fold it. Take a breath and start to let it be soft. Shoulders round, head can drop. Intentionally relaxing upper and lower body. Last breath. Taking your time to rise. Right foot comes to the floor. Wrap the left arm. Right comes behind. Get tall with your breath. And then start to sink into the twist. It's coming from mid-spine. The shoulders can open, the gaze might follow. Keep drawing the knee into the midline. That really changes the way your twist can feel. If you're fighting with the knee pushing away when you twist, then it's not really reaching into spaces that we're trying to release if we have an internal struggle happening. So let yourself come towards your center and then breathe. Two more breaths. Exhale completely before you unwind. Take the legs long. Again, maybe hands come behind and you find that seated cow reaching the heart forward. Or both hands could come to the left and you just take a bit of a counter twist. When we take ourselves down on our back. And as you arrive, bring knees in. Let it feel so good to be lying down. Feel the low back, the full spine, the shoulders connect. You can shift and move here. Let both feet come down to the floor. We're just going to bring a little bit into the back line, just to let it feel good. The hands come down alongside the body. Tuck your shoulder blades under and take the feet about hip width apart. And then move the heels towards your sit bones. Just a few flowing bridges. We're not looking for really strong core. We're just releasing the back line. So with an inhale, you want to press into the feet and lift the hips as high as it feels good right now to lift them. And then shift your awareness into the heart and lift that. Let the chin move away from the chest so you lengthen at the neck. And then slowly come back down. As the sacrum arrives, bring the knees up. Give yourself a squeeze and a rock. Let's do that again. Feet come down. Adjust your shoulders, your feet. Bring the hands to their sides. Inhale, start to lift yourself up. Maybe you tuck the shoulder blades under as you rise. Maybe you squeeze the thighs a little tighter. It's going to feel really good to get the blood moving and open up the spine. Take a breath wherever you are here. Exhale. come down, release the chest. And when you rock side to side, maybe let your head drop in the opposite direction and bring some release through the neckline. Feet come down. Take a breath. One last back bend, but we're going to take fish. So take your legs long. And then bring the hands underneath the sit bones with the palms down on the floor. Shrug your shoulders up towards your ears so you can get your elbows on the mat and as close to the sides of your ribs as you possibly can. This is easier, I find, if you let your feet be glued together as well. You feel all scrunched up here, that's okay. We're gonna take a big deep breath. Now I want you to press into your elbows and lift your upper body. Now lead with your heart, squeeze those shoulder blades back and open the throat and drop the head back if that feels safe. You can do this with chin to chest also. Just keep lifting through your heart. Full deep breaths here. Squeeze the shoulder blades, press into the elbows. Lift the ribs, lift the heart. Clearing here through the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the solar plexus. Full deep breath right here. And just one more. Bringing chin towards chest first. And then start to bring yourself back down on the mat. Release the elbows, the hands. Make any last movements that you need, maybe bending the elbows, rolling the wrists, release the neck. Let's find our way into Shavasana. You can take traditional corpse pose where the legs are about hip width and the arms are at your sides. You can lay open and take up all the space. Take any shape that you can settle into stillness. And then come back down into yourself and watch your breath. And together, let's take one deep inhale. So let your next breath drop right down. Breathe into the full space of your torso, right up to the very top of your lungs. Pause there, feel full, feel powerful, feel energized. Sip in just a little bit more air. Heavy sigh, let it go. If you feel like you need a really long Shavasana today, then you linger as long as you like. If you're ready to spring into the day, start to let the breath deepen. Bring movement into fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Let your head drop from side to side. And let's reach the arms up overhead and point your toes long. Take a full good morning stretch. The biggest breath you take in today, in and lengthen out every single space. And then let it go. Shift and move. Find your way as you make your way back up towards seated. And as you arrive, sit bones are heavy, lift the heart, close the eyes. Maybe a bit of a smile and a deep breath. Beautiful day, strong body, feeling energized and fantastic. Let's bring hands up to heart. There's always space to find gratitude for something. To take a moment, sink that in. As always, you have my gratitude for joining me and me guide you. I hope you have a fantastic summer day. Take good care and I'll see you soon.